everybody, welcome to another True Review. Today I'm bringing you Spheroids on the Xbox One, releases 10th of February. No pricing as of yet, but comparing it to the prices on PSN, it's going to be around about $7.99 or $5.99 in the UK. But like I say, don't hold me to those prices as they're yet to be confirmed for the Xbox. Now what we have is a side-scrolling platform game where you play as Lucas, who is a Canadian boy, the game description says, and you have to work hand in hand with his scientist friends to rid the world of evil spheroids. Now, Spheroids kind of plays like the classic arcade game Pang, or Buster Brothers it was known as in other regions, in certain regions of the world. And in that game, it was on a single screen and you had a harpoon gun, which fired directly up into the sky, and you had to pop balloons, and every time you popped the balloon it split up into two smaller ones, and then again into two further smaller ones, and I think maybe again, and then finally they disappeared when they was in the smallest forms. And that's the crux of Spheroids, but rather than being an enclosed single screen arenas, Spheroid takes it to side-scrolling platforming. And I don't think it quite works. I think the reason Pang was so successful and worked is because of the enclosed nature of the levels. They were frantic, they were bustling, you was always on your toes waiting for to dodge something or collect something. With this taken to a side-scrolling arena or side-scrolling kind of format, that intensity, that urgency is kind of stripped away from it. You can quite simply dodge the enemies and just completely ignore them entirely. Now there is forced arenas in the game, usually 1 or 2 per level, sometimes 3, where the levels do close off and you do have to beat all the spheroids to progress. But even with these, the enclosed nature of them is kind of spoiled, and the intensity is spoiled because they do generally scroll a little bit left and right or up or down, and some of them even are 2-tiered where you use a teleporter and zoom into the background or the foreground and actually have some more spheroids to actually defeat. And I think because this compact claustrophobic nature of what made Pang successful has been removed, it lessens the impact and lessens how this game actually works. Now, there's quite a few differences obviously with being side-scrolling platformer. You do get a few other gadgets under your belt. You get a grappling hook and you also get magnetic boots, which can make you cling onto the ceiling for a little bit of time. And this adds a little bit of variety, but they're very rarely used in actual combat with the spheroids themselves. They're more used to negotiate the platforms, which are generally pretty easy to negotiate. The other issue I have with it as well, there's no actual challenge to the game, because when you die you simply get reset to the last checkpoint you passed, but everything else remains the same. The game doesn't reset itself, so it's just a case of getting back to the point you died and everything will be exactly the same. The spheroids will have taken the same amount of damage and you just carry on from where you left off. And if you die again, you just go back, you just trail back from the checkpoint and do it again and just keep repeating until you actually bypassed it. So there's very, very little challenge to the game. Now graphically, it's pretty nice to start off with. The levels are pretty detailed with the platforms having grass effects on them, but I found as the game progressed through the 8 worlds, the levels became more and more bland and less interesting, which was a shame really. The main character's pretty decent. They're made up of kind of like large blocked pixels, not the usual kind of pixel art that you normally get. They're actually more formed and smoothed off, but a pretty decent character to be told. So is the other human character, the scientist. He's pretty well fleshed out as well. The spheroids themselves, which should be the star of the show, are a bit unremarkable. They are literally just circles with faces on them, really. And because spheroids, you don't actually get that sense that they are a sphere. You get that they're just a drawn circle on a page, which is again a little bit of a shame. There is a few power-ups which you have to collect as well. There's a shield, there's one that give you more harpoon guns, and what's the other one? There's ones that slow down time into like slow motion effect, and ones that stop time completely, and there's also dynamite which explodes everything in the immediate area. Musically, it's a bit unremarkable. The music fits the game rather well, but it's nothing that's going to stand out. It just happens and passes you by, really. But reasonable effort with the music, as you typically find with most small indie games like this. Going on to the achievements, very, very easy 1000 gamer score. Managed to get the full 1000 points in a little over 4 hours, and you'll get the majority of them just through progressing through the 8 worlds, and then probably a bit of backtracking just to pick up a few power-ups which you miss, because you have to get 25 of each power-up. Now, I like Pang as an idea, and I thought this would generally work, but when quickly playing it I realised the reason why Pang was successful, as I mentioned previously, was because it was in these enclosed arenas, and taking it out of those enclosed arenas doesn't quite work, unfortunately. So while there's actually generally nothing wrong with Spheroids, it's just not that exciting a game to play, and just I think it kind of misses the mark it was trying to achieve and trying to recreate that arcade feel of Pang, but be a bit different. So regrettably, because I do usually like Eclipse Software's output, the 2 previous games scored quite highly on my channel, but regrettably I think this one kind of missed the mark, so I'm going to give this one a 2 out of 5 on this occasion. It's I say a gamerscore hunter's dream, to be honest with you. It's the easy 1000 gamerscore, and there's nothing generally wrong with it, it's just not that exciting to play. So, hope you enjoyed that review, guys. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next review.